Hi everyone, Donna here. I'm the owner here at Bookkeeping Made Simple. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about messy books. What does that mean and how to deal with them. The top cause of messy books, if you will, is someone without an accounting background doing the accounting. Okay, and that means that the business owner is trying to do it themselves, which we don't recommend for a lot of reasons, not just because we want the business. Or their spouse is doing the books, which we recommend even less. Or their brothers, girlfriends, cousins, nephews, girlfriend is doing the books, and we recommend that even less. But it's someone that basically says, well, I can learn to run QuickBooks. And that's never a good idea. Now, this is not the video where I'm really going to get into that. What I want to talk about here is, first of all, I'm going to give you a shameless plug. Simply being able to run QuickBooks does not mean you know anything about accounting. And that's really important to know. This is a specialized field. I am in this field as a bookkeeping services company owner because I have 20 years of experience in the field, because I have a degree in accounting, because I'm pursuing an MBA, and so I have the experience, the expertise, and the education required to actually do this, and it takes a lot of work. I used to spend, I came from an accounting background, so I had taken accounting courses. I really had a pretty good idea of what I was doing, and then as I got my degree, I found out how much I really didn't know, and how much more I could do, how much better I could do. So unless you have a degree, I really hate to be that person because I swore for years I wasn't going to do it. Unless you have a degree, the fact of being a QuickBooks professional, a pro advisor, I don't really think means that much. It just means you know how to work QuickBooks. It doesn't mean that you know anything about accounting. So be aware of that. And so that's my shameless plug. Please call us at 801-692-0032. We'll be happy to help you with your bookkeeping needs. There you go. When the books are messy after a CPA or a professional bookkeeper has been working on them, okay, it's really tempting to say, well, your previous bookkeeper didn't know what they were doing. And I am guilty of having done this. Okay, this is one of the reasons why this subject really kind of spoke to me. I've done this. I have badmouthed the previous bookkeeper, and I'm never going to do that again. Okay? Because after some discussions, this was several years ago, I had a gal say, you don't do things the way I would do them, but that doesn't mean they're wrong. Now, this gal was a business owner, and she didn't know what she was doing. As far as accounting, she was good at what she did, but accounting wasn't one of them. She thought because she took one accounting class, she knew what she was doing. Always interesting about that. People think accounting is simple, and I'm like, I'm working on I finished my bachelor's, and I'm getting my MBA, which is more accounting, and then I'm thinking about doing a master's in accounting. I don't know yet. None of those are simple. Those were hard classes, and I took a lot of them. So I try to avoid the judgment that the previous bookkeeper didn't know what they were doing. What is typically the case is they were doing things the way that they were taught, and that may be appropriate for big business, and it may be appropriate for the clients that they had before. It may be appropriate in the specific arena that they were in before, and it may not be appropriate for this client. Okay, so I don't assume incompetence unless it's absolutely blatant, and it really, really, really has to be over the top for me to start saying, well, they didn't really know what they were doing. What typically happens when we see messy books is that there's a lot of transactions in some sort of a suspense account. Now, for us, if you're one of our clients, the suspense account that we use for transactions we have questions on is called Ask My Accountant. It is under Other Expenses at the bottom of your P&L. So if that has a high number of transactions in it, it's not because we're not doing our job. It is because we haven't gotten information from the client yet. So we're trying to move forward with all the transactions that we do have information on, and so we've got to put those others somewhere where we can remember to talk to the client about them. It makes it really, really hard for us to be able to take care of the books the way they need to be taken care of when the business owner is not responding to us. And that happens for a lot of reasons. This is not a, smack down on the business owner video. Right now, several of our clients are in the construction industry. They're builders, they're various, subcontractors for buildings. And the building market in Utah is exploding. There is a housing shortage. Contractors, any sort of contractor, handyman, subcontractor, anyone that works on building anything or has anything to do with buildings is booked 3 years out. And so they are in a panic to get things done so they can move on to the next job. Okay. We understand that, but we still need to have this information back to be able to get this work done. So that's usually the number one reason why the books are a mess. We don't have the information back from the owner to get us what we need to know to properly classify these transactions. Also, we do like to talk to our clients quite frequently, to be honest. Especially when they're getting started, we talk to them a lot about what are they looking for, what to get out of the accounting. Excuse me. Now, I just talked to someone the other day that was saying, well, I just want to be able to give a clean set of books to my CPA at the end of the year to do the taxes. And that's great. We'll go with that. But what I really preach and talk about and really, really want business owners to be able to do is to use your accounting to grow your business. And so if you look on our website, mysimplebookkeeping.com, you will see on several places in the website a download for a free book on how to improve profitability by using metrics through your accounting, okay? And I do also do some tax planning to help business owners improve the profitability of the business by reducing their debt burden and growing their business at the same time. So that's what our focus tends to be. It's less on tax accounting and more on managerial or financial accounting. In other words, we're more concerned with the information that business owners need to make solid business decisions than we are with making sure that we're in compliance with the IRS. And we are okay with doing that. The IRS is aware of this. So if you're ever audited and you need a copy of our books, we can go to the IRS and say, this is the financial accounting, this isn't the tax accounting. And they will still be able to figure out the differences. There are some differences. They're not massive, okay? Usually, by the way, the difference is in depreciation and depletion. So it's not like it's a massive difference, but there may be categories on the P&L that are not tax deductible. Just because it's on the P&L doesn't mean it's a deductible expense. Meals and entertainment, most years, is one of those. We're going to show 100% on the P&L. And by the way, for 2021 and 2022, you can deduct 100%, take advantage of it. But in past years, you could only deduct 50%, but it was still important to put it on the P&L. The same thing with certain clothing expenses. Clothing is very, very seldom, unless it's a specific, I like to wear nice clothes, And I can probably finesse it and say, well, I'm on video a lot. You know, so I need my makeup, skincare, hair care, lash extensions. I need all of that deducted. But that's kind of a gray area. So I don't put it on my P&L. Okay. The things that are on the P&L should be the things that are important for the business owner to know about their business so that they can make thoughtful, informed business decisions. Okay. So if you're looking from a strictly tax perspective and you look at our books, it may not seem right because there will be some non-deductible expenses on there. There will be some things on there that you go, that's not a business expense, but it is for that particular client, but it may not be deductible. Okay, depreciation will be the same way. It may not match what the IRS says, but it will be a correct depreciation method. It's going to be what works for this client, whether that is straight line depreciation or the double straight line or whatever it is. We're going to figure out what works for that client. By the way, it is usually straight line because it's easy. Same thing with inventory. We don't like to work with inventory, but when we do, it's first in, first out. We don't like first in, last out. We don't like last in, last out because the IRS doesn't like it. So it's usually FIFO, first in, first out. That's usually just what we use. And that helps businesses set their prices. By the way, that's why stock futures affect your price at the pump so much, is simply because they have to figure out replacement price, and that's what they have to charge. And I'll cover that later. So we are trying to make sure that the books are kept in a way that the business owner, who is usually not an accounting professional, can look at the books and say, okay, I understand this, or needs a minimum of assistance to read the books. Okay. Usually we're focused on helping them make good decisions throughout the year, which means that there has to be a financial or managerial accounting approach. So when we look at another bookkeeper's work and we see that it's tremendously complicated, which is typically the problem we see, we're not going to go back and say, well, they didn't know what they were doing. If they didn't class it the way we would have classed it, we're not going to say they didn't know what they were doing. And if there's a ton of things in suspense that needed client input on and they didn't get it, we're not going to say anything about that either. So all it is it's simply a different style. And you need to find the bookkeeper or accountant that can work with your style. We will tell you if it's completely wrong, don't worry. And then the other thing is we're not going to say anything about a previous accountant unless we see signs of fraud. Now, we are fortunate to have a couple of people on our team that have been trained by big banks on how to spot fraud. And so we are very quick to speak up on that. However, unless that's what we see, unless we see signs of theft or fraud in the books, we're not really going to say anything negative. We may tell you exactly what we do see, which is they did kind of make the books more complicated than you needed. Doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means it's a different style. They were looking at it from a different perspective than we were. There's a lot of art that goes into bookkeeping. I do try to keep my bookkeepers doing the books the same way I would do them because it's easier for us to maintain a corporate kind of image on that. Just from the perspective of just as when you go to McDonald's, you always want your quarter pounder to taste the same way. When you work with Bookkeeping Made Simple, I always want the books to look the same way so that when I go back in and I'm reviewing the books in preparation to talk to the client, I don't have to stop and really figure out too much what the bookkeeper was trying to do, because I already know, because I trained him. And we really try to keep that consistent company-wide. So we are, we're looking for that level of consistency, and also so that whoever's supervising the bookkeepers can easily see what's going on. They know what's going on. They've been in on these conversations, so that we know how we format the books. That doesn't mean that another format is correct or incorrect. Mostly, it just means that we have a little bit of a different style, and we can adapt ourselves to whatever style the business owner is looking for, as long as it's correct for the generally accepted accounting principles. So we will squawk on that, but we do try to stick to GAAP, and we do try to make sure that everything is we don't ever want the IRS or any other auditing body to come in and say that our books are wrong. We want to make sure that it correctly and accurately reflects the state of the business. That's what we're looking for. So again, just because a previous bookkeeper didn't do your books the way you liked it, doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. It just means there's a different style to it. We want to make sure that we can always pass an audit. So that's something I'm very, very focused on, whether it's audit from the IRS or audit from an outside auditing agency or CPA firm. We want to make sure our books are clean. So that's what we look for. Number one cause of messy books is inattentive business owners. So if we do reach out to you and ask questions, please feel free to, please pick up the phone and either schedule an appointment with us if that's easier for you. A lot of times people are really, really busy and they don't have time to answer these questions right then. That's fine. Schedule an appointment with us. We'll reach back out to you and go over these so that we can keep your books as neat as possible, because we don't like messy books. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, again, another shameless plug. That's the whole reason I do these videos. If you would like us to do your bookkeeping, we do bookkeeping, accounting, payroll, tax planning. Check out our website at mysimplebookkeeping.com. You can reach us at sales@mysimplebookkeeping.com. We are seeking, we're working on a jobs board because we've got some jobs that will be coming up soon. Currently looking for some specialized people. As always, please, if you found this video useful, please like, share, and subscribe. Eventually, I'm going to be like a really polished video person, but that day is not today. So hit that notification bell if you are on YouTube. We would really love to hear from you. I do read the comments on the videos. Thank you for watching and have a great day.